This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today it's all about the words and the letters that you're putting together to create something that's in a category. Today we're talking about Tapple 10. This is a condensed party game of a popular party game that's already out called Tapple, but this is Tapple 10 because there's 10 different ways to play this game and it's a travel size. So let me show you how it's played and I'll see you on the other side. The game comes in this little travel piece and you open it up and there's 80 cards, double-sided, a timer, and directions for 10 different ways to play the game. Let's look at those ways. The first one's called Tapple 10 Alpha. What you do is someone's going to flip this card and there will be a letter there. This one does not use the timer. You look at the color of this letter. This color tells you which of the categories you're trying for. Everyone's doing this simultaneously. So in this case, since this is purple, we would look for ice cream flavors. One that starts with an R. The first one to yell at an ice cream flavor starting with an R, like Rocky Road, would get to take this card in front of them, then they would flip this card. We have another purple, sticky stuff. I don't know, applesauce or something. So you keep going like this until somebody has 10 cards, so that player wins the game. If nobody can figure one out, you just put the next card up and you go like that. This one's called Rake 'em In. It's for one or more players. You'll be using the timer. Same rules as last time. One player at a time this time would flip this over and they would look at comedies starting with J, for example, and they would say it. As soon as they say it, they put this in front of them and they would flip up the next one, and this would be, office supplies that start with J because this is red. They would continue to do this until this timer runs out. Then it would be the next player's turn. Every player would do this for 3 rounds. Whoever has the most cards is the winner in this one. This one's called 4 in a row and it's for one or more players, takes 10 minutes. One player at a time will flip over a card from the deck, and this is a yellow S. They have to be able to get all 4 categories of there, or they're trying to get all 4. They will collect as many as they can. As soon as they flip this over, they flip the timer, and they have that much time to get a yes in all the yellow categories. Each one they get correctly, they put one of these in front of them as a point, and when this runs out, or until they've got all 4, their turn is over. Everybody would do this for 3 rounds, so you have 3 turns. Whoever has the most cards wins. This one is called Down the Line. It's a 2-player or 2-team game. There's 9 of these categories set up in a straight line, although I put them in 2 lines so you can see it on the video. This timer gets set up so there's roughly half the amount of time on one side versus the other side. The first team will flip over a card from the top of the stack and start with this first one. In this case, they have to do Reasons to Celebrate, starting with A. As soon as they get it, they flip the timer over to the other side and they flip this up. Now the other team has to do Retail Stores that start with T because it's blue, you're matching this. And then when they get that right, they're going to flip this. It'll be the other team. You're alternating back and forth. If the time ever runs out on one person's side, the other team wins. Or if you get through all 9, whatever team answered the last one correctly wins. And you play to see who wins 2 rounds first. This one's for 2 players. It's called Head to Head. You have one big stack. The timer you set it up so it has half the amount of sand in one side and the other, and then you flip this over, and the first player, like normal, has to figure out it's purple, sticky stuff starting with R. As soon as they get it right, they flip it over to the other player and they collect this card. Now, if the time ever runs out, that player gets this and this card, and you continue doing this until someone has 10 cards. This one's called Scramble. It's for 2 or more players. You set up 2 cards for each player plus 1. So if there's 2 players, there would be 5 cards. You flip this over, there's no timer in this one, and you're looking at B. So each player at the same time is trying to say as many of these as they can. So this is red, so they're trying to use the letter B to say as many of these red categories as they can. If they do, then they automatically get it. So let's say, like, if they got this one right, they would pull this one. If they got this one right, they would pull this one. It would keep going until this gets smaller. If you get stuck or nobody can do anything, you simply flip up another letter, and you continue doing it until all these cards are gone. You do this for 3 total rounds. Whoever has the most cards at the end is the winner. This one's called Alpha Build. It's for 1 or more players. It takes about 20 minutes. You would put every card on the deck, all 80 of them, letter side up on the table. You would start by building a word. Younger players build 3-letter words, and everyone else will do 4-letter words. And so someone might take these letters and put them in front. 3. Let's just do 3. F-A-R. Then the next player would spell a word for the first time, and then everybody would do that. When it's your turn, next time what you're going to try to do is you're trying to place a letter on there to keep it going. So this is car, and then next time it's my turn. par. And you're going to keep doing that, adding to this word, making it longer, or putting things on top of it until the end of the game, and the last player to be able to make a word wins. This is called Countdown. It takes about 3 minutes. It's for one or more players. What you're going to do here is everyone will have 10 letters face stack up. There'll be one in the middle here with the categories. Everyone is trying to essentially get their thing correct. So this is a blue R. I have to say something that is in a suitcase. When I do that, I will take it and I will put it on here. There's only one pile of these, whoever does it first. And so now I'm looking for a yellow bird. But everyone else's category has now changed too. So everyone's rushing to get whatever this category is, and it's changing as people are finishing. Whoever gets through all their cards first wins. This one's called Last Man Standing. It's for 2 or more players. You're going to flip this up, and you have a purple R. So people are trying to, one player is going to try to think of something that's sticky with a purple, that's R. Now, when they do so, the next player will then try to think of the same thing. Sticky stuff that starts with R. Then the next player is, if you can't think of one, you're out. The last player standing will get this card, and then the next thing will happen. Everybody will keep going around thinking a TV channel that starts with A till there's one player left, and the first one to collect 3 cards wins. And the last one's called Under Pressure. It's 10 minutes, one or more player. This player is going to look at the A. Regardless of this color, you're going to ignore the color. They're going to try to think of all 4 things that start with an A. You start the timer as soon as this is flipped. So that person has to think of a fish of an A, breakfast food is an A, in the yard or garden that's an A, and plants and trees. If they get it correctly, it then goes to they collect this card. It's the next player's turn. Now this player has to think of all 4 of these categories with R. If the timer runs out and this player did not get all 4, then the timer flips, it goes to the next player, and they give a new letter in this. If this player now collects it, you collect all the cards that are there, and the first player to get 10 cards wins. Now Tapple itself is a popular party game that I've reviewed in the past that I liked. And this is similar to that, where you're normally going to be coming up with words that have to do with a certain category, but this one has 10 ways to do it, as you saw, and it's very streamlined and very small. So one thing, obviously a big positive of this is, yeah, it's tiny. You can fit in your pocket, it can fit in someone's purse, a good stocking stuffer, and you can take it on road trips really easily. And there are different ways to play it. Now, I reviewed a game earlier this year called Junk Art, which was a dexterity game where there were like 10 or 11 different ways to play, and you would just shuffle them all up and play 3 different ones each time. And I highly recommend that's how you play this game, because they're all short. Pick 3 ones, your favorite, or 3 random ones, and play 3 different ways. You can play everything from solo all the way up to big teams. Now they're all sort of somewhat similar, but yet somewhat different, where, as you saw, the different versions. And I like that they're all slightly different from each other, and because it gives like a little twist, and the game feels different even though it has the same sort of premise overall throughout the theme of the game. So if you like those traditional style party games, this is definitely one to think about, because you can bring it out at holiday parties or regular parties, and pretty much everybody likes to just create words that go with categories. It's a fun little thing, and I like the twist of being able to do it in many different ways, and I like the portability of it. So for this one, I'm giving it a total thumbs up, and that's Tapple 10.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter, making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.